let's go get dirty in the shade. Hey guys, today I am going to be working on some plants in the garden that have had a bit of a delay. I've had these plants for some time, but we have been busy working on our greenhouse build. So over here off this back section of our garden is the greenhouse, and I'll put a link below for the greenhouse build. So we have been busy working on that. So some of my plants or my annuals that I've wanted to get into this section, they've had a bit of a delay. Honestly though, I went to the garden center at the grocery store looking for some shade plants that I wanted to add into this section this year. I've never planted this section of the garden. This will be my first year actually putting something in this section. So I went to the clearance section at the garden center and found some Columbine and some other plants that needed rescuing. And I thought, well, I could probably use those plants in my shade garden. So I took it upon myself to rescue these clearance plants from the garden center at the grocery store. So let me show you what the inventory is for my shade garden today. So this is the plants that I have for this section out here, and this section is a garden off of the back of our house, so our back entrance, and then this is the back of the hot tub. So most of this spot out here is full shade. It does get more shade or more sun over in this little corner section over here, but the rest of it from about noon on is in the shade. So I was looking for some shade-loving plants to put out here, and on the clearance rack there was some Columbine. So I picked up a few of these, and you can see that they were a little neglected. They are a little shriveled up, and I thought, well, let's see if I can get any growth. But they have put on some new growth, and some of them do still have some really good seed pods on them. So being a perennial, they will reseed and come back every year. So I have been nursing these along in this section. Winky double rose white Columbine, as well as some bellflower. So I have a couple of those to put in, and they are a white. The theme back here is going to be white, just to kind of brighten it up. White Impatients, your classic, inexpensive filler annuals to put along the border with the white Impatients. And I also found this light-colored silver mound Artemisia, and it does require a little bit more sun. So I have a spot out here in the corner that gets a bit more sun, and I think we'll try it there and see how it does. But I also found a clearance Bleeding Hearts, and it is more of a shade loving plant as well. So I do have a spot for it that I will be putting it in the garden out here. So there's also another reason I've never planted this garden section out here, and I'll be honest with you, it was a little traumatizing to me. I did at one point, I think it was last year, have a snake out in this garden section. Now, we live in Ontario in gardening in zone 5B, and we do not have poisonous snakes in our area. There might be one, but it's more north in Ontario, and mostly around here we just have the small little garter snakes. But this one was not a small garter snake. It was what I like to call an anaconda, and it was in this garden section. And I remember every spot in my garden where I have actually seen a snake. So I do believe that this snake also paid me a visit the other day out in my garden section out here. Okay, this anaconda has to go. Gardening with snakes. Little friend, I don't like you in my garden. This trellis will save me, right? Look at the size of that. I've built up my confidence to work this garden section today, so let's get planting. Let's go get dirty in the shade. Okay, so I've kind of placed the plants where I think is a good section to start out with them. I've got the Artemisia over here where it'll get most of the sun. A Columbine and a bellflower, another Columbine and a bellflower. The bleeding heart I think will go nice in there, and then another Columbine on this end. And then the front border will be the annual of the white Impatients. So let's get planting. My shovel. If I were a shovel, where would I be? There it is, my shovel. And just a quick pause to admire the vegetable garden. I will be working on a garden tour over the next few days just to give you an update of how all of the plants and veggies are doing in the garden. But today, back to the task at hand, planting the shade garden.
No virtual acting strong. Wilderness, we give you our mess. We're so blessed to have you. Anchor our hearts and give us a fresh start. Wilderness, we've come for you. Wilderness, we give you our best. We're so blessed to have you.
Well guys, I am feeling quite satisfied that this project is finally finished. I've been watching these plants sit here in the shade for the last few weeks and babying them along, again rescued from the clearance rack at your grocery store. I'm excited to see if this Columbine will reseed itself and establish itself here to come back year after year. Well, let me show you how it turned out and what the plants look like now that they're actually in the ground. So in behind the hot tub we have, I think that's an Empress Wu hosta, and it's been here forever. I don't know how long it's been here, but it's starting to get some nice white blooms on it. So I wanted to keep with the white and green theme back here. The white Impatiens all along the front. I've got two white bellflowers and hopefully they'll start flowering in the next few weeks. The Columbine are finished for the season, but they do have seed pods on them. And I'm excited to see if they will reseed and come back for me next year. And the bleeding heart, it's still going strong, and I think it'll do really well in that section and start to take a hold and be here year after year. The mounding Artemisia I put up here in the front where it'll get most of the sun in this section, and we'll see how it does here. I don't know if it'll be enough sun for it there, but it'll fill in that little section over here on the corner. Well guys, another little project completed, some more plants planted into the garden, getting dirty in the shade today. My name is Bonnie, this is Artist in the Garden. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment below, what are your favorite shade garden plants to use? I think I'm really going to enjoy these white Impatiens this year. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.